moving on. What is the future value of $3,500 invested at 5% per annum interest compounding annually for 5 years? So, sorry, I don't get taught this in my curriculum, so I'm just going to search up the formula quickly. Okay, the formula for compound interest is your answer equals P1 plus R over N and T, where P equals original amount equals 3,500, R equals interest rate, equals 5%, N equals the number of times of interest applied per time period. So essentially it's saying, in this case it's per annum, and our time period is years. So it's once per year. So N is just 1. And then T is number of time periods elapsed. 5 years is 5. So if we sub all of these values in, you get A equals 3,500 times 1 plus 5% divided by 1 to the power of 5 equals, and then just put this into a calculator. I'll just use my computer. 3,500 times 1 plus 5. Where's my percent button? Okay, I'll just say 0.05 to the power of 5. And you get 4,466. Oh, if you round it, it's 4,467, but I guess they just rounded wrong. So $66, and therefore the answer is B. Next question. Also, I know I advocate against using formulas. I would explain this one, but it just takes a bit extra time, and I think you do have the formula on your formula sheet anyway, so it doesn't necessarily matter too much. But yeah, so question 14. What is the annual simple interest rate when $561 interest is earned on $2,200 over 3 years? So for this, we'll just apply the formula, but we have to do it a bit differently. So our answer, which is 2,200 plus 561, 2,761, is equivalent to our original 2,200 times 1 plus 3 times our interest rate, right? So this is just applying all of our original stuff. Again, I can explain this in more depth if you don't understand this, and I actually don't know if you need to know this yet, but yeah, so simple algebra, it's just 2,761 over 2,200 equals 1 plus 3R. 2,761 over 2,200 minus 1 over 3 equals R. And putting that into the computer, 2,761 over 2,200 minus 1 divided by 3 is 8.5%. R equals 8.5%. 0.085. So that's B. Next question. What's the value of y if the gradient of the line passing through the points -3, 5, and 2y is equal to -1? So we have a line which is in the form y equals mx plus b, presumably. And you have the points -3, 5. So 5, you sub it in, equals -3m plus b, and y equals 2m plus b. Sorry, oh, all my days. And her gradient is equivalent to y2 minus y1 rise over x2 minus x1 run. Rise over run, right? So is equal to -1, and you just sub in the values you've got. So you don't actually need any of this. Sorry, I should really read the questions properly. I'm really tired from staying up. M equals y2 minus 5 over 2 minus -3 equals -1. y2 minus 5 over 5 equals -1. y2 minus 5 equals -5. y2 equals 0. Sweet. And therefore it's b. So that's just basic algebra really, but knowing to apply it to the gradient formula, which is shown up here, and actually reading the question properly, which I demonstrated how not to do. Question 16, which of the following are solutions to 6a squared plus 17a minus 3 equals 0? So to factorize this, I'll do it the way you do it. So product is -18, sum 17, and factors 6, 3, sorry, -6, 3, or -3, 6, or 18, -1, or -18, 1, and I could continue with 9 and 2 and whatnot, but you can pretty easily identify that 18 -1 is 17, therefore those are your factors. But remember, since it's not monic, sorry, I always forget the term, you need to start factoring it properly. So 6a squared plus 18a minus a minus 3 equals 0. And then 6a plus 3 minus 1, a plus 3 equals 0. 6a minus 1, a plus 3 equals 0. And therefore 6a minus 1 equals 0. 6a equals 1, a equals 1 over 6. Or you have a plus 3 equals 0, a equals -3. So 1 over 6 and -3, which is a. Sweet. Moving on. Which graph represents the equation y equals 2 over 3x plus 2? Okay, so our things that we can look at pretty quickly is, if you let x equal 0, let x equals 0, y equals 2, right? Because this is our y-intercept right here. So which one intercepts at 2? A does, so we'll put a dot next to it. B does, dot next to it. C doesn't, line through it. D doesn't, line through it. By the way, if you notice, like, I have a certain technique for my exams. This is what works for me. And obviously you don't need to do dots and crosses or whatever, but I would suggest underlining key information, which I'm not doing now, but I would do in an actual exam. And also making sure that you remember, you put notes next to answers to remember which ones are possible and which ones aren't, because it saves you like the time of thinking back. So anyway, so we've got A and B as possible answers and C and D ruled out. And now next, the differentiating thing that's obvious is one is a positive gradient and one's a negative gradient. And our gradient is the coefficient of x, which is this right here, 2 over 3, which is obviously positive, and therefore our answer must be A. Next question. Rolla paid $37,250 for a new van for her courier service and depreciated it at 28% per annum. what was the depreciated value of the van after 2 years? So to work this out, I'm assuming that this is simple depreciation, I guess. Again, sorry, I haven't been taught this. I'm just sort of working out on the fly, which would be just the same formula, I guess. So A is P1 minus RT to the power of T, I think is the formula. Yeah. Oh no, not to the power of T. Sorry. So A equals 37 to 50. Sorry if I'm clueless on these like finance ones. I haven't actually learnt them at school, so I'm not 100% sure on them. R is 28%, and time is 2 years, equals 37 to 50 times 1 minus 0.28 times 2. And the answer is 16,390. Again, if these are wrong, I apologize, but I guarantee the rest of them won't be. So